Once, in a quiet and forgotten village far away from busy cities, there lived a young boy named Ethan. Life in that village was simple, but for Ethan, life was hard. He was born poor, not poor for a short time, but poor in a way that followed him every single day. Most mornings, his pockets were completely empty, not even one coin. His shoes were old and broken, with small holes that allowed dust and rain to slip inside, and his school bag was torn, stitched again and again until it barely held together. Some nights, Ethan went to sleep hungry, learning in the silence of the night what it felt like to want more and not know if it would ever come. But inside Ethan, there was something different, something the world could not see and poverty could not touch. Ethan had a dream. While others only thought about surviving tomorrow, Ethan thought about the future, a future bigger than his village and bigger than his empty pockets. He did not want to spend his life just surviving. Deep inside, Ethan believed one simple truth: his life would not be defined by where he started, but by how big he dared to think. Whenever Ethan spoke about his dreams, people laughed. They smiled in a way that made him feel small and shook their heads as if his thoughts were a joke. Some told him that dreams were for people with money, not for a boy with empty pockets. Others reminded him that he should think about food for tomorrow instead of a future he would never reach. Their words stayed with him longer than the laughter. Each comment felt like a quiet voice trying to convince him to give up. Sometimes, those voices grew loud enough to make him doubt himself. But even when his heart felt heavy, Ethan held on to one belief deep inside. He believed that his future was not limited by his present situation. He believed that where he was born did not decide where he would end up. And even when the world told him to think small, something inside him refused to listen. One evening, after a long and exhausting day, Ethan sat alone beside a quiet river at the edge of the village. The sun was setting slowly, and the sound of the water felt heavier than usual. His mind was full of doubt, and his heart felt tired from carrying dreams that everyone said were too big for him. As he sat there in silence, an old teacher known in the village for his wisdom noticed the boy and walked over. With a calm voice, the teacher asked why he looked so troubled. Ethan answered honestly, saying that people laughed at his dreams and told him that a boy with nothing could never become something great. He said their words made him feel as if his dreams were a mistake. The old teacher listened carefully without interrupting, then smiled gently, as if he had heard this story many times before. The old teacher reached into his bag and slowly handed Ethan a small mirror. He asked Ethan to look into it and tell him what he saw. Ethan replied that he saw his own face staring back. The teacher then asked him to look again, not just at his face, but at his eyes. He asked if Ethan could see the pain there, the tiredness, and the fear that had been building for years. Ethan nodded quietly. Then the teacher told him to look even deeper. This time, Ethan noticed something else behind the pain, something strong and alive. The teacher explained that this was the fire inside him, his belief. He said most people ignore this fire and let it fade, while others allow the world to cover their mirror with dust made of doubt, fear, and other people's opinions. He told Ethan that the only way to keep the mirror clear was through action, by working every day toward who he truly wanted to become, and by never forgetting what he was capable of seeing in himself.
Ethan carried the teacher's words with him as he walked home that evening, and from that moment, something inside him began to change. He did not become successful overnight, and his life did not suddenly become easier, but his way of thinking was different. He stopped seeing his situation as a final limit and started seeing it as a starting point. Every day, Ethan looked for ways to learn, even when resources were few. He read whatever books he could find, practiced writing, and paid attention to every mistake he made instead of feeling ashamed of it. His dreams also changed. He no longer dreamed only of passing school or escaping poverty. He dreamed of building a future strong enough to support his family and meaningful enough to prove that his belief was real. The path ahead was still uncertain, but for the first time, Ethan knew that he was walking forward with purpose. Life did not become kinder after Ethan made his decision. In fact, it tested him even more. His mother became ill and often needed medicine that the family could barely afford, and his father worked long hours under the hot sun, returning home exhausted and empty-handed. Seeing this, Ethan knew he could not afford to give up. Every morning, he went to school and focused as much as he could. In the evenings, he worked at a small tea shop, washing glasses and serving customers to earn a few coins. On weekends, he helped a local mechanic, learning practical skills while others rested. And every night, when the village grew quiet, Ethan studied under a dim light, pushing himself to stay awake while his body begged for rest. He gave up comfort, sleep, and sometimes even food, but no matter how tired he became, he never allowed his dream to fade. As the years passed, Ethan's quiet efforts began to show results. With the small savings he carefully put aside, he started a tiny mobile repair corner in the village. It was nothing impressive, just a small space with basic tools, but Ethan treated every customer with respect and patience. He focused on doing honest work and learning from every repair he completed. Slowly, people began to trust him. He saved every coin he earned and reinvested it into his work instead of spending it on comfort. Over time, one small corner became a proper shop, and then another followed. His progress was slow, steady, and built on discipline rather than luck. Ethan was no longer just surviving. He was building something real, step by step. As Ethan's work grew, the village began to look at him differently. The same people who once smiled and laughed at his dreams now spoke his name with respect. Some waited outside his shop, hoping for a chance to work with him. His success brought real change to his family's life. His mother received proper medical care, and his father no longer had to spend his days working in the fields under the burning sun. One day, the old teacher returned to the village and visited Ethan. Looking at how far the boy had come, he smiled quietly. He reminded Ethan that the world often teaches poor boys to think small, but those who dare to think big have the power to rewrite their own story. Before leaving, the teacher looked at Ethan and spoke one final time. He said that dreams are not measured by the money in a person's pocket, but by the vision they carry in their heart. Ethan listened in silence, understanding that his journey was proof of that truth. And now, dear listener, this story is not only about Ethan. It is about anyone who has ever been told to think small because of where they started. If this story lit even a small spark inside you, do not ignore it. Protect it, act on it, and allow it to guide your next step. Remember, your next chapter does not begin when life becomes easy. It begins the moment you dare to think bigger than your circumstances. Start today.